All right. Welcome everyone to the Unwavering Stance, episode number 10, Lake of Kalandra League, week 2 of the league, 3.19. I'm your host, Stark4machines. I am joined by these two hardcore solo self-found fucking masochists, Deedledo and DadBodGamingGod. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Deedledo, what have you been up to? What's going on in the world of you?
The world of Deedledo.
Deedledoo.
So I was playing a trickster last time we all discussed and talked. The last time we heard, well, I died.
In hardcore.
That day? No, well, I mean, it wasn't that day. It was the next day. We were discussing doing Exarch, and I died during Exarch.
To the balls.
To the balls. Well, it wasn't. It was the balls, but part of it was me making several mistakes in quick succession while also having a fair bit of bad luck while that was happening. So last league, I knew it was possible for Exarch to go right into second ball phase right after first, like almost immediately if you did too much damage to him. It was like a fail safe like that I think GGG put in place to make sure you did at least 2, right? So I knew that that was a thing. I knew that that was like a mechanic, like so you didn't like phase him instantly and then
cheese the fight,
and cheese it, so you had to interact with the mechanic. So I knew that that was a thing. But this league, I did the first 2. First ball phase went like meh. Second ball phase, I pulled out like perfectly. I don't think I hit a single ball, didn't run over a single vent. I was feeling good. Came out of second ball phase, I dropped my Vol Blade Vortex, my Vol Blight, started, doing some damage, and then he went right into, I think he did 1 annihilation where he like does the like weird barrage thing. He did, I think, 1 of those and then went right back into ball phase. So like I was like kind of confused. It kind of threw me off my game a little bit. And I was like, wait a minute, why is he doing this again? So I start running through and everything is like, I'm getting through it. I run from one side down and I like just barely clip a ball on the way down before I flame dash, made my immortal call go down. And I'm just standing at the bottom and a wave of balls starts to spawn to go up. And my immediate thought was I should log, but I thought right after, I'm like, well, it's almost over. I should just stick it out. We'll be through it in a second. I went to go move up. My mortal call drops off, and I dash right into 2 balls that is also on a vent. I died, but I didn't have my ruby up, and I wasn't using my life flask that I specifically crafted for
the Exarch fight.
The Exarch fight, which had no suffixes. They were both instant with no suffixes, and had the harvest enchant with 100 extra charges. So I could sit there and spam them all like a bunch of times, and they only go off if you're actually taking damage or if you're losing life. And I didn't do that. My immortal call had just fallen off. I didn't have my ruby up, and I just dashed into just the wrong place. So
as a softcore trade player, you just died to balls. You died to Exarch balls.
God, well, but it's more than that, though.
I fucking hate those. I hate that ball phase. I hate it so much.
I'm not a big fan of Exarch either. But anyway, so that character's dead. Trickster felt really good while we were playing it. I do plan on revisiting it sometime this league.
Is this still going to be Blade Vortex, or is it going to be?
Nah, I'll do something else. I don't want to do Blade Vortex.
I would like to do a Trickster this league. How about you, DadBod? Have you done a Trickster this league, or do you want to?
No, but
I don't think.
I mean, I can go ahead and get into mine. Deedle, did you have anything else on yours?
So basically, I re-rolled a Lightning Strike champion, and that's what I've been doing since then. So now we're like 94.
That's a good build.
Almost.
It's a really good choice. So good. It's a good choice. I love it. Yeah, it's a great build. Solid build.
I played it last league. I had to make a couple changes from what I did last league. The blessing, the reservation, spell suppression changes. I needed to tweak my tree. I lost about 1 million damage from last league.
Out of what, like 12 or something?
No, like maybe 5 or so.
That's
I'll probably
not terrible.
end up with like, yeah. I mean, it's it was probably like 4.5, 5 top end. I mean, I had to build it tanky. It's not a soft core build, right? So
Right.
I had a lot of
Well,
defenses.
it's a champ
but
too, which is great.
yeah, perma fortified is very nice.
Right.
Yeah.
But yes,
Okay.
now I'm done.
Well, that's
DadBod,
okay. Well,
trickster for DadBod? Yeah.
Eventually, yes.
Nice.
So as a one-up from Deedle, since the last time we spoke, I've ripped twice.
Oh shit.
As of that last recording, was in the middle of leveling a Skelemancer. Just basic bitch summon skeletons, impale. Which was actually feeling
melee skeletons, right?
Melee skeletons, yeah. And it actually felt pretty decent. I felt kind of defensive, just from the zombies and stuff that you can get with meat shield. I do know that there's a lot of issues with minion damage taken kind of stuff. So like you kind of have to invest a lot into minion defenses. And I did. I think I took almost every defense minion cluster on the tree, including the one that is like you get a ton of minion chaos resistance and 20% of minion life as extra energy shield, which goes
Grave
really well with my
intentions.
build.
Yeah, grave intentions.
Right. Because there is the ascendancy node, because I was not running auras. I was running mind over matter necromancer. And the mana / energy shield ascendancy node for necro also applies to your minions. So if they have 20% of their life as extra ES and they're regenning 2% of their ES per second, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Felt pretty good. And then I was like, you know what? I want to get a couple like easy levels. I'm level 70. I'm just gonna go into Delve for like a minute. That's gonna be fine. I got my ass obliterated.
No, that's weird. Yeah.
I see you fine.
That was weird. Yeah, the cameras got frozen for a split second. I don't know why that happened.
I don't know.
They're back now though.
Screeching bats in Delve are fucked.
Those are the ones that do that sonic wave.
Yeah.
That does so much fucking damage.
They do.
It's pure fizz, and I had no armor because I was mind over matter. So it just obliterated me repeatedly.
That was your favorite build, wasn't it? That was your favorite.
No. My favorite was
said Arcane Cloak was his favorite.
Arcane Cloak Stormbrand, which, by the way, spoiler alert, that was the other build I ripped on this week. I rerolled it. Felt good. Was heading towards red maps again on him. Decided to run Lake of Kalandra, which at this point is just not worth running at all to me. And for some reason, I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to put a chaos tile onto my lake. And it didn't really matter what it was, because my character had negative 56 chaos res. And I would say like a third of my defenses is energy shield. So I just got one popped from 4k life with 50% mom. So yeah, don't put chaos tiles if you're not invested into a lot of chaos res or CI or something like that.
Yeah,
because it will kill you.
Yeah, they do a lot of damage.
Currently re-rolling Wintertide brand Occultist.
DadBod Wintertide God.
Not feeling the best about it. It's kind of like it deals damage. It's just that the playstyle is so similar to the store brand guy. It's brands. Like you're doing the exact same shit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of boring. And also like I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do instead, and I might be re-rolling again with this one still alive. My Endless Heister is still alive, by the way. I'm just heisting whenever I get bored. The RF Chieftain. But yeah, I think I might actually roll Deedle's build and see how I fare with the Blade Vortex.
What is the difference between Wintertide brand and Storm brand? What is the difference?
One's a dot that doesn't hit at all and it's cold, and one's a lightning that hits and doesn't have a dot and is lightning.
I didn't even know that Wintertide was a damage over time. That's interesting.
Oh yeah. It's
that.
So Wintertide has to have the every time it activates swap to another creature, because the way Wintertide works is it applies a debuff to a mob. And if you don't have that mastery, it applies a debuff to a mob, and when that brand either expires or that creature dies, it like does this like cold cloud around it that deals damage over time around it too.
Almost like the frost ground stuff, but it's like it's like
permafrost mobs.
I see.
Yeah. The ones that drop that degen, it does 1,000,000 dot.
But what that mastery does is, the way Wintertide works is, as soon as it leaves somebody, it makes that cloud, and those clouds can stack. So what happens is, if you just drop a Wintertide brand into the middle of a pack, it zips around every 0.6 seconds to different things, and you get stacking stuff on top of it. And it also has a built-in mechanic to where you can have an extra one attached. So for single target, it's good, because with the Keystone you can have 3 brands on one target instead of just 2. But yeah, Storm, other than like the play style of it, Storm brand and Wintertide brand are nothing alike. It's just literally just running around hitting my right click on a pack and then trying to avoid damage while the brand kills it.
Right click is for movement skills only. What are you talking about?
E is for movement skills.
E is movement. E movement. Let's go.
E movement and F for flash in League of Legends.
E is for your second movement skill.
Wait, no, D for flash in League of Legends. That's what it was.
All right.
Yeah, I was anti F for flash.
Anyway,
it's Trickster, Blade Vortex, and I'm also trying to figure out something with Kinetic Blast, but I don't think that's going to work.
Trickster Kinetic Blast? Could you?
No,
maybe.
I was thinking Arcane Cloak Kinetic Blast, but I just can't get the damage there.
You can get what's the helmet that gives you the old prophecy helmet that gives you lightning damage per your mana, kind of like an attack archmage.
Memory Vault?
No, that's for Mana Guardians. It's the old prophecy helmet. What the hell is it called? Something.
Is it of the council?
Yeah.
Mind of the council?
Mind of the council. That's it.
I was gonna look it up.
Maybe help that. Maybe that could potentially work.
I think I was getting like 15,000 per explosion, and that's just nothing. So
20% chance to be shocked. 30% of lightning damage is taken from mana before life.
Yep.
Word.
Attack skills have added lightning damage equal to 6% of max mana.
Yeah, so it's like a attack archmage.
If I have 6,000 mana, 1% of that is 60 times 6 is. I mean, that's 360 flat mana. The way I was doing it was I was going Resolute Technique Hierophant and taking the your non-crits are lucky mastery, because I mean that kind of goes together.
You could still do that too, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that helmet existed, so I don't have one, but might be interesting. Might be something I'll keep an eye out for. What about you, Stark?
What about me?
Yeah, what about you?
Been up to?
What about
Other than our Tyrak?
Oh man, I tell you, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna go over the Tyrak again. I put a Tyrak in my stream office studio, so all my ties are hanging on the Tyrak. probably the best thing I've done for my stream ever.
That's not okay. Never mind.
So, what have I been up to? Oh man, how many times have my character died? 14.
I don't know. I seen a video of yours on YouTube where you're like, I'm immortal, and then you went and died.
Invincible, yeah, and Gamer for Life loved that clip too. He put it in one of the episodes. He laughed a lot at that. He really liked that. Yeah, I was drinking alcoholic beverages, and I was saying that I kept shouting at chat that I was invincible in Labyrinth, and I said it a lot, and then Azaro one-shot me. So, yep. But yeah, I don't know. I've been my Scourge Arrow Pathfinder is now level 92. Softcore trade. It's so much fun to play in labs, so much fun to play in heist, so much fun to play in yellow maps. I am currently figuring out the single target damage of that, which feels like it's going to be Plague Bearer for single target. Plague Bearer with like a huge empower in it.
Wait, yeah, Plague Bearer is so good. Plague Bearer carried that Blade Vortex build. It was basically a Plague Bearer build that basically
did Blade Vortex to clear. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm dealing with is Scourge Arrow. Scourge Arrow is a fantastic clear. Arrows go everywhere, poison everything. My Blink Arrow clone poisons everything and taunts everything. So that's kind of, I don't know if I touched on that last cast, but that's my... Yep. I like the idea of my Blink Arrow clone and my reflection minion taunting enemies and distracting them as a form of defense, along with spell suppress and all the evasion, normal right side of the tree defenses.
You're also getting 5% reduced damage taken too, so that's nice.
I thought it was 10.
10.
Is it 10? I thought it was 5.
I've got it pulled up right here actually.
And enemies taunted by anybody else. Well, enemies taunted by you. Here, I'll tell you exactly what it is. Enemies you taunt can only target you and deal 10% less damage to anyone else. Taunt lasts for 3 seconds.
On that same topic, real quick about taunt. I am so happy that they fixed the Desecrate pool for Ruins Hellion. If you don't know, Ruins Hellion is one of the best defensive specters in the game. It has a 30% taunt.
Wow. 30% chance to taunt or 30% reduced damage after taunt?
30% reduced damage.
What?
The problem is he always dies because he's always taunting. So you would have to go back to Grain Gate and find one, kill it, and then resummon it.
Can you do
Desecrate can actually pull it now.
Can you do like percent minion life and percent?
You can.
And,
I mean, my Ruin Hellion never died.
On the Spectre?
Can you what?
Yeah, Meat Shield do it. But you don't need it because it's already taunting.
And he would still die anyway.
Still die? Well, I'm just trying to think of ways to keep him alive, basically.
I mean, in red maps, he's going to probably die anyway, but from where I was at and with all the defensive stuff I was in, he wasn't going to die. In especially white and yellow maps. Red maps and boss fights, it'll probably die. But
so
he will do his job. Like
taunting
for 30% for like half of a fight is fine with me.
So so one way to keep alive now there's a mastery and there's a trick, and it specifically works really well with skeletons because you're constantly resummoning them. There's a mastery that says on minion defensive recovery. Minions recover 5% of life on minion death. When you resummon skeletons and they disappear and to resummon, that counts as a minion death.
Right.
And you're summoning 4 at a time.
Yeah.
So that counts as 4 minion deaths. Bam. That's 20% of your everything else that is around your specters, your zombies, your golem. Bam. It's like a life flask. If you're seeing that your anime guardian is dying, just spam some skeletons real quick.
Yep.
Yep.
So what have I been up to besides that build, that Pathfinder build? The Pathfinder feels good. I had mentioned about I was wrestling with, am I gonna go Raider? Am I gonna switch it to Raider because I'm using frenzies? Am I gonna do that? Nah, Pathfinder feels too good with flasks. Flasks feel too good in heist, and I built the character to run heists mainly. Got to figure out the single target. I as of right now, it's probably going to be Plague Bearer. I don't really know what else to do besides Plague Bearer for single target on that build.
What if you did the what if you did the Delirium helmet Assalium?
Let me look that up.
Like
is that the snipe one?
Yeah, I actually dropped one earlier, and I was like toying around with the idea of running a Scourge arrow for clear and putting like a
snipe
poison
skill.
Arrow. A caustic arrow, not poison. It hasn't been poison arrow in years. Deedle, get it together. Caustic arrow with like something else to just do a huge poison.
What would be interesting? I like so it says socketed non-channeling bow skills are triggered by snipe.
So you can't do
Scourge.
Caustic or Scourge, I mean.
But what I could do, I wonder if I would put Frenzy in there. I wonder if I would do that.
You could.
It would be more of a utility instead of a damage dealer.
You could also use the Alchemist Mark.
You would just, oh god, yeah. I mean, if you're doing that, I could
also do barrage and faster attacks and greater multiple projectiles just to stack a fuck ton of poison to just increase poison stacks.
I wonder how that would work with barrage and all those. That we would just release them all at once. How do you channel barrage?
You don't channel barrage.
No, but you would in Assalium. Snipe makes the channel.
Oh.
Bring up snipe on your wiki.
I'm looking at it right now. I mean, like, I could switch to the screen and eliminate you guys and you could see it here.
We'll talk about this afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like 115% more damage with ailments per stage, and then it goes to like 6 stages. No, bring up snipe, not the click on the skill.
Bring up snipe. Yeah, okay.
It's right there. Yeah.
Got it.
It'll give you the tooltip for the actual skill itself. Over there to the right. It's like what, 115?
180% of base. Attack damage.
More damage with hits with ailments per stage, and it goes to 5 stages, right?
Wow. You're very knowledgeable when it comes to uniques, Deedle. I don't know if you know that, but
he's uniquely gifted.
You know a lot about fucking uniques, Deedle, and I don't.
Yeah.
You still have that that redemption, that point redemption on your channel?
Guess unique.
Guess unique. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody does it because I do it anyway.
Yep.
When things drop,
every unique that drops, you just like, this is either this
anyway.
or this.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Anyway.
Anyway, so that's what I've been up to in softcore trade, and then I rolled hardcore solo self-found. I don't know if you guys know that.
I seen you the other day when you were up really late. You were in HCS.
The vendor game.
Vendor game, hardcore solo self-found. I rolled a popcorn SRS. And that popcorn SRS necromancer witch is in Act 7. And I tell you what, fucking, no matter what I'm confident in saying this, no matter what they nerf on minions, leveling minions is a fucking breeze, dude. It feels so good leveling minions. Hardcore solo self-found. I got nothing. Nothing.
They've always been good like that, but apparently it's even better now
with bone rings.
With bone rings and the new wand base types and that stuff. According to Gazzy, leveling.
Yeah.
He said this leveling session that he had this league was the best he ever had. And he's leveled a lot of minion builds.
He's the minion guy,
shields too.
But he said once you got to like the end game and into maps and started trying to, min-max and like build their defenses, that's when all hell broke loose and he just
that's when
really
stuff gets expensive, I think.
Keep them alive.
Now I don't know if you guys actually watched his videos about like his animate guardians dying and why. But comes to find out that the breach lords were not classified as bosses, so they were actually dealing 100% of their damage to minions, and they're supposed to only deal like 60% of damage to minions.
Yeah, a lot of monsters have a hidden tag against minions that they deal less damage against them because a lot of times they're very uncontrollable. You can react, right, to incoming damage that you see. Minions are stupid. They run over, they see target, they hit target. They don't care if it's attacking or what. So they have a less damage multiplier against Tull and apparently the other breach lords, and there's a couple others too that I don't remember off the top of my head that also didn't have that thing. So GGG are making a pass on all endgame monsters to make sure that their damage is appropriate against minions now because of that.
I don't understand like why it's such a hard thing to do. Like, so it sounds like that they're wanting specific mobs to have that damage reduction, which makes no sense to me. Why not have it so that if it's a unique mob, you automatically have damage reduction against minions? That takes care of everything. You don't have to worry about it.
Maybe
that means the exiles. That means blight mosses. I don't think so, because they can do the map boss curse effectiveness.
Maybe. We'll see what they do with it. They haven't announced exactly like. Well,
maybe it's
they
one of these
that they're gonna do it, but not like it's not done yet, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, well, maybe it's one of these changes that they're wanting to make, or not make, depending on what kind of change we're talking about.
Nice segue.
Yeah, hey, let's do that. Change. So let's talk about what GGG has changed in these 2 weeks. The patches they've released in the 2 weeks, what they've changed, the changes in those patches, and then after that, the planned changes of what they plan to do in the upcoming weeks 3 and 4. Because I think that's how it usually goes. They new league comes out, they change a lot. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after that,
Scourge, we just got ghosted after like a week. I will say this before anything. I do appreciate the fact that they are communicating and letting us know whether people agree with what they're saying or not. They are still communicating with us and letting us know basically, hey, this is what we're working on. This is what we hear from you.
Yeah,
like our stance on it. Like
good communication.
At least they're communicating, and not all of it is doom and gloom anyway, right? Like there's a lot of good stuff that has came from the last few patches that are overshadowed by a lot of other things that the community is largely, by and large, most of people that are upset about mostly one particular area of the game for somewhat good reason, right? There is a pretty good reason for, and then obviously I'm speaking about Harvest, mostly the reforge suffix, reforge keep suffix, reforge keep prefix not being in the game, them classing it as quote unquote filler crafts, and basically saying with the last post that that's kind of it's gonna stay that way, that they don't see a way out, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think that there's many things that they could do. And this is one area where I kind of feel like they are beating around the bush with their communication and they just kind of want it to be this way. Whereas they're like, oh, we discussed it internally and this is just not a thing. they could bring back some of these crafts that people are clamoring and want so bad. They could make a new special beast, right? Like put it in Einhar, make a very rare beast to bring back these crafts. Make a uh, put it in Beyond. Make Beyond drop a special currency. You can gate it behind Balar was in my chat the other day and was like you could make it to where like you have to kill a pinnacle boss and you'll have a chance to drop an orb. But the fact that they're saying like since it's tradable now, which as we were discussing before in the before the podcast started, it's always been tradable.
Mm-hmm.
Just now it's
Right.
more itemized and easier to keep track of. But harvest has always been tradable. There hasn't been any situation like that's why the TFT server popped up was
Right. Right.
Yep.
facilitate these harvest changes. So
Well, I pressed the button. I blocked harvest. I gave it every opportunity. I've run I don't even know how many harvests I've run, and I logged into my heister to just build up some currency and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I've got these really awesome pair of gloves, tier 1 life, tier 1 life recovery. I just need to swap this from fire res to cold res. And even after all the harvests I've done, I did not have enough currency to swap fire to lightning. And that was the one I needed, which is ridiculous when you compare the cost of everything. Even with all these reduced costs, the cost comparison to what things are now comparatively, like if you drop 100 life force from a plot comparatively to what you used to get, if you were to take what you used to get and transfer that those crafts into life force, you were dropping what I'd say probably 1,500 to 2,000 life force per plot.
but there's an opportunity cost there as well. Like there's much more quality of life with this system.
I agree with that. However, we're at 1/20th of what we used to get. I like this
But it
new
also
part.
takes you 1/20th of the time in harvest. You're in, you're out. You're on to the next one.
I do love how now you don't have to scroll through all the crafts when you're in a map, and then I hear what you're saying, Deedle, and I think that's a great change.
I think that it's in a decent spot. It could still use a buff on some life force. I'm running like I have Atlas or I have Harvest fully spec'd on my Atlas, and I'd drop about 800 to 1,000 life force. I'm not voling, I'm basically chisel out go. Sometimes I just transmute, and if you transmute, I get about 500. Which I'm okay with. Maybe it could use a bump up, but I'm okay with this system, like just the iteration, not the crafts, not speaking about what it is, just how it performs and how you do. Like the opportunity cost is so much lower, and you don't have to go in and just be sitting there for 20 minutes fumbling through your stash like, "Oh yeah, what did I want to do with this? What did I want to do with that?" When I first seen this system on the reveal, I said, this is great. However, I see a big issue with this. The amount of life force that they were dropping on the ground when they showed on the reveal versus the cost seemed way off to me. You can ask anybody who was in my stream. I said this multiple times leading up to the beginning of the league. I said, this is going to take multiple passes to get right. The life force drop rate, the costs, and I'm okay with that, right? Because this is by and large a much better system for dealing with these crafts, right? The opportunity cost is much lower. This could take all league to get right. Maybe it doesn't get fixed and like actually feel amazing until next league. But the fact that it's like this way now feels so much better. And it's gonna take some polish. Nothing that GGG has implemented or any company for that matter like usually is perfect on arrival. It usually takes a little bit of polish. You gotta come in, you gotta smooth out the edges. Something that I think I don't know if a lot of people still know this because I've told multiple people in my stream and they're like, "Yo, I didn't know that. Now I'm getting much more life force." The white and the gray monsters aren't guaranteed to drop any life force. So what I mean by that is like when you read the plaque that has the monsters on there'll be a white name, there'll be a gray name, there'll be a blue name, or an orange name. Orange name is T4 seeds, the blue name are T3 seeds. You want to go after the light blue and the orange names because they are guaranteed to drop you life force.
Got it.
So, okay, you might drop, 500 to 1,000, depending if you're specced into it or not. But you're in, you're out, you're on to the next one super quick. So I really feel like the balance is there. I mean, well, the potential for balance is there. If the life force was just a little bit better, maybe drop rate wise, or maybe bring the cost down just a little bit, just a small balance pass. I feel like this system is way better. And then if we could get some, the reforge keep prefix, reforge keep suffix.
Yeah, I just miss my crafts that I used to love. Like I just miss my jewel implicits a lot. I want those back. I don't care where they are. I just want my jewel implicits back.
5 links. 5
links were great.
Something I've missed out on.
Yeah, it's interesting because I used to love the 5-link jeweler's touch that used to happen, and crazy to me that they got rid of prophecy before they got rid of torment. I don't understand that, but I just
a weird one.
Yeah, but now you get a div card for what, an influenced 5-link? It's just weird.
Yep. Well, speaking of like drop rates, is what you're talking about with the life force. I'm still of the opinion that loot is messed up. It's a little bit of an anecdotal evidence.
You're not alone.
The fact that I can run an Uber lab, run a side gauntlet or a puzzle area, and open a labyrinth trove, and be given 7 white items that are eye level 75 and a non-quality orb of storms as my reward is absolutely ridiculous. That defeats the entire purpose. It happens with everything. It happens so much. I think it's one of those things, and people that have like experience using like Photoshop or GIMP or any type of photo editing software may understand the metaphor that I'm going to make. But there is a tool in GIMP, and I'm pretty sure it exists in Photoshop as well, called Magic Wand.
Yeah,
and there is a setting in it that you can change to see how sensitive it is. And if you change, like, let's just say that you're looking at a black screen but with gray pixels on it. If you have it at 0%, it's only going to select the black parts of it. But if you go from 0% to 1%, it's just that 1% change. Now it's also going to select the gray pixels too. So what I think might be going on is one of the changes or multiple of the changes combined in the rarity and with the culling system is screwing something up. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed this, white jewels are still dropping.
Yeah, it's weird.
I dropped one today. I haven't dropped a white jewel in like a week, and today I did drop one, and I pointed it out.
I see them all the time in Heist.
I see it now.
I was only noticing them when I was killing Entangling archnemesis, because that's the ones that convert things to jewelry. And I was like, oh, well, maybe it's just these, that it's just converting a white item into a jewel. But I was just killing random mobs and dropped one, and I'm like, something's wrong. This isn't right. There should never be a reason.
From an Entangler, but yeah, I dropped the first one that I've seen in like a week. Blue to me seems fine now. Like
I think that there's still
sustaining
something
maps.
wrong.
I got enough. I'm dropping
A
currency.
lot of people on Reddit think there's something wrong with loot. I'll say
Explain.
that.
I think what we're seeing that you're like perceiving as loot is fine is the
Luck.
band-aid that they put over it. So they're essentially they buffed the shit out of everything that we were complaining about,
Yeah,
but
but they
that
just
didn't fix the issue that
but
was
they said
underlying.
but then they did that without saying anything because they said they were bumping currency drops and uniques. That doesn't affect maps. It doesn't affect rares.
Yeah, but
I will like if you go back and watch the last podcast. I mean, obviously you guys were here, but anybody listen, I was absolutely saying that the game is fucked. Like something is wrong. But I mean, now it seems somewhat back to normal. From my perspective, I'm dropping things like I would like normally. I normally would like from last league. I see no real huge difference in the loot drops now.
well, they did say that multiple occasions, and they've talked about this in the like most recent league launch video. Is there are things that they buff and nerf without even telling us all the time.
Yeah, I
So
know.
them
They've
going
talked
in
about
and
it
buffing
multiple
the map
times.
drop rate when they went in to buff the currency drop rate and not mention it is not outside the realm of possibility.
Sure,
I
I
just think that
agree.
there's a band-aid that's over a problem, and the problem is still there.
Can we talk about archnemisis? Can we do
No.
that?
No, let's just get rid of it.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that.
So this is one of my sore subjects.
Go
is
for it.
archnemisis.
Go for it.
I've been trying so hard to be acceptive of this mechanic.
You're not alone.
And I'm like, it's so bad. It's so terrible. And the reasoning behind the behind archnemisis
what is the
reasoning?
Just
non-existence. So when they introduce archnemisis, they're like, hey, we don't want new players to get confused about mobs. We don't want them having to stop and read things and have to go to a wiki to figure out what's going on. We want them to be able to see a monster, know what it does, and be done with it. What the fuck is the difference between like steel infused and bone breaker? I have no idea. Off the top of my head.
No either.
Yeah, I actually can't believe you just said all that because I have to go to a wiki to see what the archnemesis fucking. I have to look it up on a third-party website. What?
And here's the worst part. Though, like when you do have to go look them up, the amount of stats that one mod gives is like 8 lines long. It's like it's stun prevention. It's 200% increased physical damage. It's threshold immunity is this much. It's doing this. It's this. And
yeah, it has
it's
like
absolutely ridiculous.
Instead of resist elemental or
Yeah.
resist chaos or substantial physical damage. Right.
Like compare which they to their credit they did fix Stormstrider. Stormstrider is much less annoying now. But compare what Stormstrider used to be versus Lightning Mirage from what was it before the league? Not Bloodlines, but the rare version. Nemesis. The Lightning Mirage Nemesis mod versus Stormstrider Nemesis mod. They're the exact same mechanic. Neither of them tell you what the thing does, but one of them was completely bonkers and broken, and the other one was easy to avoid.
Well, Stormstrider does more than just.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the bonkers broken part. Is it is the exact same thing as Lightning Mirage did,
there's
except for way more.
There's a lot of hidden things that like no one even really knew about at first. You know, like Chaos Weaver's immune to wither. Like, why am I not doing any damage? Yep. Oh, because he's immune to wither and he has 90,000 chaos res.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or if You get like if you're doing a fire build and you get like Flame Strider with Incendiary, and it has like +10 max res and 100,000 fire res, and it's has reduced ignite and is immune to scorch and all this stuff. Is like, wait a minute, hold on, like how are we supposed
And
to
the
know this?
and mobs like Magma Barrier just being so difficult for no damn reason. We're not fighting the monster anymore. We're fighting the mods.
Listen,
And
Magma Barrier, Soul, what is it? Soul Conduit. It's the
Magma
best
Barrier,
combination ever. Easy
what,
6 links.
yeah,
Go get them.
what was it? Magma Barrier and the temporal shield, or whatever gives them the
Yeah,
bubble,
temporal
temporal
bubble. Yeah.
bubble. Yeah, good luck, because you have to get inside and stand on top of them to kill them, unless you're a dot build. And yeah, fuck that. Like, it's ridiculous how insane it is. I would love for them to just revert it back to the way it used to be with Nemesis and Bloodlines. It was way more simple then, I feel like.
Not only that,
Um,
but like we didn't. Every single rare didn't have a Nemesis or a Bloodlines modifier, right?
yes.
So
Correct.
that's another thing. Is like you. Every single rare now has an arch nemesis. Every single magic pack now has an arch nemesis
Yep.
Yeah.
pack. Whereas before, you might come across, if you ran a nemesis map or a bloodlines map, maybe you had 5, 6 packs or 5 or 6 rare monsters that had an extra mod, and it was a little bit difficult. But now, like, it seems like especially like essences or beasts, and they have toned these down quite a bit since inception, and cut the life modifiers on these. But they had way more HP than the map boss. The map boss, you run
Yep.
in, you two-shot it. Meanwhile, I'm fighting a rare essence arch nemesis monster for 5 minutes.
Yep.
It's like, what?
And also one of the changes that they made with this patch, with the beginning of this patch, is something that they think that is a very positive thing, and it's not, is the fact that all magic monsters now have the same archnem mod in an area. So, for example, and I think I told you about this, Deedle, I was running, what's the beach area in Act 6 right before
The beacon?
the Crab Island?
Beacon?
The beacon.
Beacon.
I'm running through Beacon, okay? All right. So I run up to the area where you have to escort the little fuel canisters to the two sides. Um, if you don't know or don't realize this, but the like area right before where the fuel canisters go into infinitely spawns minions while those things are on the track, and they're all magic. Okay, which means it infinitely spawns archnem mobs now, and every single one of them was corrupted. So my Storm brand was instantly getting 10 stacks of a corrupted blood, and I'm in Act 6. I haven't rolled a bleed flask yet. I had to portal out 8 times from almost dying instantly to corrupted blood, to the point where I was like, you know what? Screw this. I went and ate some regrets, unspec'd 4 points, and spec'd into cannot be inflicted with corrupted fever or corrupted blood, just to get past the beacon, which is ridiculous to me. And then just instantly had to eat 4 more regrets to unspec it out of it once I got to the Brinekeef's Reef. Like, the fact that all magic mobs in an area have the same thing, I having 17 packs of Storm Strider, or whatever the lightning resistant mob is,
Yeah.
when you're a lightning based build,
It's horrible.
feels terrible.
Yeah, it feels so bad.
It's like, oh,
deal,
yeah.
I deal with the same thing with Chaos Weaver and a Chaos build.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just everything is resistant to your damage this time. I think and Deedle kind of hit it right on the head, is Nemesis mobs had a chance of having a Nemesis modifier. Not every one of them had it. In fact, I would say a majority of them didn't have it. And even the ones that did, they only had one. And it wasn't like some insane life modifier with it. They were just a rare mob. Rare mobs should be rare, and they shouldn't be way more difficult than bosses are. And here's the thing with GGG, the way they balance things, which I think is atrocious, is they're going to take this this information and be like, "Oh right, you know what? You're right. Rare mobs should not be harder than boss mobs. Let's buff the fuck out of that boss life." And they will just buff the shit out of it, making it a 10-minute boss fight for a tier 1 map boss. Because that's their vision. But they won't tell us what their vision is.
Yeah,
I just don't think a majority of players' visions line up with what their vision is.
Well,
I think that's the big issue.
They talk about the PoE civil war all the time between the player base fighting the player base, because everybody's got a different opinion on how the game should be run.
Yeah.
I mean,
Zoomers versus boomers mentality, right?
Right. I understand that they don't want the game to be a spreadsheet. I get it. They want there to be challenge. Yeah, I get it. I just feel like archnemisis was implemented with not enough time invested into implementing archnemisis.
I mean, that's kind of obvious with how many changes and how long it's taken to even get to this point, and it still doesn't feel great.
Right. I'm reading the Beck's post about in Delve, archnemesis monsters with the heralding minions are too punishing. We fix this, blah blah blah.
They're too punishing everywhere, though.
Yeah.
Like, you can't sit still for a second. See, I'm okay with challenge, right? I'm okay with the game being challenging in some aspects. I don't like it when it's like forced challenged, where you have to, like, obviously there needs to be some challenge for you, certain things need to be challenging, sure. But like when you go into a map and then you're just faced with these like arbitrary mods that just damn near like brick everything that your build does, it feels really bad. It's not, I don't think it's conducive to the game that they have built. Maybe it was part of their vision back in 2013, 2012, 2014 when the game was a lot slower, but what they have built since then has changed from that vision, right? And they need to kind of get behind the game that they have built, not the game that they wanted to build 10, 12 years ago.
I think that's the way we're heading for Path of Exile 2. Is Path of Exile 2 is going to be Diablo 2 again, and they're obsessed with that game. Like we're seeing Diablo 2 immunities coming to Path of Exile, and them trying to force it into there, realizing it's too strong and nerfing it, and them still being too strong, and they don't understand why we don't want this, why we don't like this. There should never be a mob in the game that's immune to shock. There's never should be a mob in the game that's immune to freeze. Other than
I first found
bosses, for the most part.
I mean,
and even bosses, Cyrus, you can freeze now. His threshold is huge, but
yeah,
it's one of those things that Path of Exile Classic win.
Yeah,
I don't want hard mode.
Yeah.
I do. I wouldn't mind hard mode, but I don't want it to be forced hard mode.
And like it seems
hard
like
mode, I would want to play hard mode when it comes out. I would be one of those people who would enjoy like the extra challenge, but I don't want it thrust upon me and me playing it unknowingly. Right? If I'm playing it, I'd like to know. And I don't really want to league start it. I want to still league start regular PoE, and then when things die down, then I want to jump in and be like, all right, what's this about? How far can we get? What's this like?
Yeah.
One thing to like briefly throw out there is that and I've read this somewhere else, and I agree with it. I am looking forward to the 320 We're Sorry patch.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a banger, and if it's not, holy moly.
I do want to point out that I got reprimanded before we launched for my negative attitude towards the manifesto, and that I should look more positively upon the changes that are coming. I just want to say that I was 100% right, that I had a feeling that this was going to be 3.15 again, and it was honestly, this feels worse than 3.15 ever did.
It
Well,
did. A lot because I think most of it, if the game would have shipped not broken, and maybe with like some of the harvest changes being implemented a lot better. See, I think that's the thing. Is like the ideas behind it and what we thought was gonna happen seemed pretty good. The lake, the harvest changes, some of the uniques, like all these things seemed pretty like good ideas from my perspective anyway. The problem was the implementation of it was dog shit.
yeah.
That was the issue. Good thought, good idea, terrible execution.
I tell you what,
You know,
Sentinel League felt like an I'm sorry league. It felt like it was just shitting out loot.
I miss it.
Yeah, well, I told Chris, I said, when I first started playing Lake, I told Chris, I said, you know, people might be freaking out because Lake is pretty much the opposite of Sentinel. And it's jarring.
And that's a big issue.
It's
that's
jarring.
a big issue with the fact that, you know, you could get more currency in one Sentinel run, or, you know, better loot in one Sentinel run in one brief stretch of map than all of a whole lake that takes you 6 maps to set up. And then add on to the fact that the game was broken for the first, you know, week or so. And it's just like, whoa, like you go from having shit tons of loot, recombinators, harvest in a decent state, whether you had to trade for it, whether you had to farm for it, whether you had to sit there for 20 minutes or whatever, to no recombinators. I feel like, and we've talked about this on my stream before a couple times, but if they would have made some of these changes last league with recombinators and with Sentinel in the game, I think the player base as a whole would have been a lot more accepting of it, since we had so much power with recombinators and so much loot with Sentinels, that a lot of these changes would have went over a lot better. Maybe not
Well,
everybody, but I feel like a large portion of the player base would have been a lot more accepting
well,
of everything.
you know what we had in 3.15 that we don't have in 3.20 or 3.19?
Immunities.
Gauntlet.
Yeah,
True.
That's a good
No
segue.
gauntlet.
What's the reason? Is it because Ziz is getting married? Because that's the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah, that's fine.
For the most
That's what they
part,
say, part of the reason.
That's fine.
yeah.
That's
They
fine.
said they've been
according-
they said that they've been eyeing a league to actually take a break from it anyway, because it's a lot of work on them, which I can totally see, right? And
of course it is.
Conspiracy
Of course it is.
theorists out there saying like, oh, it's because Ben and Exile said they don't want to do it, and this and that, and the league's trash. They said that, you know, they did mention that the league being the way it is made it a lot easier.
Yeah, it's an easy out
decision.
But look, if he's getting married and going on a honeymoon, like take your time off, dude. Take time off to go on a honeymoon and get married.
It's not like it's happening right now anyway. We wouldn't be seeing it for a couple months, but you know that they pre-planned this shit out to the nth degree.
Of course they do.
Well before,
Have
right?
to.
And he would be in planning stages right now, guaranteed.
Have to, yeah.
But yes, it's a big part of, you know, like from what I understand from reading Vero's post and from the Twitter post, is they had been planning to quote unquote kind of give people a taste of, like, you know, to give them a chance to miss it, you know, like kind of, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder type thing. And they wanted a break themselves. You know, it's a lot of work. I'm sure setting it all up with casters, with sponsors, with getting everything ready, with, you know, I'm sure it's crazy. So, they deserve a break. They've
So
been doing this
also,
every league since Harvest.
it's also a lot of pressure on the actual players that to force themselves to have to compete every 3 months in this really grueling event.
Mhm.
Um,
Because there's money on the line.
like someone like Ben, like even if the league was good, I think if they announced like, "Hey, by the way, no gauntlet this time. We just have so much going on." Ben would absolutely just be like, "Okay, cool. I get to rest. I get to not have
Right.
to worry about performing again back to back to
Yeah.
back to
And
back."
He
that's
could do this shit.
necessary.
He
That's
could do this
needed.
shit in his sleep. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Mm.
but still, like the break is
the break and
nice.
the rest it's needed. It's needed.
Yeah,
As
I'm
much as
completely fine with there not being a gauntlet.
I'm sad about it. I can't say
Yeah.
I'm
Why
not
don't
sad. I look
you
forward to the gauntlet every league. It's one of my favorite things to do since
why
they've
don't you create one? Create a
we're
private league, a Deedle gauntlet.
so
If
I
you
mean,
need
here's the
there's
help
reason. We're
doing it,
probably going we're probably going to do something. I don't know if
if
we're
you
gonna
need
do it
help
ourselves.
doing it,
We're gonna reach out to like a couple people and try to figure some stuff out. But I don't have fucking $20,000 to give out,
you
which is a
crown
big draw
you
for a
crowdfund
lot
it.
of people.
Crowdfund it. Crowdfund it.
So you do have to
Okay,
remember, just because there's no gauntlet does not mean that there's not going to be other events going on.
there's gonna be other events.
BPL, BPL is still going to be
BPL,
a big thing.
Brittle
Um,
Knees,
Brittle Knees
Bingo,
Bingo League, you have Anomaly
Tati's
League,
Totem League.
which isn't gonna be Totem
Lolcahol,
League. I said
like
that's Anomaly League, I said that.
Anomaly.
Uh, it's not gonna be Totem League this league, it's gonna be Brands Only League.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's gonna be brands only. But anyway,
I mean,
so
I'm so burnt out of
maybe I
brands.
should do my anti-meta league again. Maybe I can
So,
do that.
I was thinking about it. So one thing that I was thinking about is I don't have like the big draw, obviously, that Ziz does. Maybe if we could get a couple people, like couple creators together, maybe we could bring some people in. I don't have a lot of, like pool to even crowdfund that kind of money, right? Like Ziz crowdfunds
Well, it's not going to be
that much money.
$20,000, but it could
It's
be
gotta be
1,000.
enough.
Could
It's
be
gotta be
1,000.
enough to bring people in and wanna compete, right? If it's going to take the place of a pseudo gauntlet, obviously I can't get to where they would, or we couldn't, or whoever ends up doing it. The thing that is don't have as much control over the modifiers, how everything is kind of situated, right? Like they have the logistics of that down, the boss kills, the level points, the prizing structure from first to, whatever. The only thing that I could think to do is just have something a harder league in its replacement, but people aren't going to come in and they might start it, right? But how many hardcore leagues have we been a part of? Or I know I've been a part of, like Exiles Melee League or Tati's Totem League, multiple leagues in a row where it might get 1,000 people in there at the start, but after the second day when people rip, they go on to the next thing.
Yeah, they go on in the next league, like
And
the
like
next private
4
league.
people end up
Yeah.
finishing it,
Yeah.
right? So like that's kind of the issue. And where
I mean, I loved doing my anti-meta league, and I think that's how I met you, Deal. I loved doing it. It got
no,
400.
you rated me on the night that I blew out a tire on the highway.
Yeah. Was that before the anti-meta league though?
Yeah.
It was? Huh.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting.
Not long before.
Yeah, it was right around the same.
It was right around the same time, but it was definitely before, yeah.
I remember seeing that on your title and being like, "Oh, that's an interesting story. I want to learn more about that."
Yeah, I blew out a tire. I was late, and that's what the title said. Sorry, I'm late. I blew out a tire on the highway. I ran into a bookcase. It was a bookcase that was flattened out. It must have fell off a truck. I mean, I'm on the highway. I'm doing like 75 miles an hour in the left lane, and it's dark. It's a black bookshelf that's like been smashed to pieces because it fell off a truck. And I didn't see it until it was maybe 10 feet in front. I tried to swerve to avoid it. It caught, like one of the corners caught my back tire and just blew it out. And it was flat like within 20 seconds.
What
So I had to pull
archnemisis
over.
modifiers did that bookshelf have?
Splinterer?
Bonebreaker? Oh yeah,
Splinterer.
Splinterer. I like it. Fuck Splinterer. Fuck that mod. That is such a terrible mod, by the way.
Dude, some of the mobs that actually get Splinterer should not be able to get
Skelly
that.
mages. Holy crap. They will.
Mages, Katava Heralds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to do something, and I probably will reach out to like some people and see if we can do something around that time. And I'm sure I'm not the only creator or person who's thinking of trying to fill that void for people who would like to do that. It's just I see how it's gonna go, and I'm probably still gonna try to do it. Even if no one else does, we probably still will do something of the sort. But huge prize pools and huge like names and cast like it's just there's nothing, there's really no substitute for that, right? The amount of hype that it actually brings, the viewers, like even if you're not running in it, it brings so much excitement around the community for that period of time where it's like there's things to talk about, there's things to watch, there's things to do. You're watching like even me as a competitor in the gauntlet, I will stop what I'm doing to watch another player fight a certain boss, right? Like someone comes in and be like, "Yo, Exile's doing Uber Cortex or Exile's doing Uber Shaper." I'll stop and like watch because like I'm still excited as a viewer to like watch this shit and like see the performance and see the skill of like these top performing racers, and it's just exciting. And I can't say that I'm not sad that it's not gonna happen this
This
league, and
league?
even
I
though
mean,
I
just one league without it.
understand, and I'm in agreement that sure, the reasonings and everything that they're saying seems fine and dandy. It all checks out. I'm not saying like, "Oh, it should be have it anyway," but, I can be, sad or upset about it and still understand the reasoning.
You can work on getting that hour and a half Act 5 Kataba.
Shut up. I just hit 2 hours. I got my qualified racer role.
Practice.
I'm
This is plenty of
qualified,
time to
damn it.
practice. Okay.
I'm
Okay.
one of like 90 people.
Yeah, you might be a qualified racer, but
I'm
you know who is
prestigious.
Shoutcaster? That's me. I have my own
I'll
personal title, and
shout
that's
at
just
you.
Hey, by the way, DadBod, if you want to practice shoutcasting, just me and you, practice it. I'm up for some practice. I'd like to do more of it.
I mean, I've only done it twice, and honestly, I got some bad feedback from it. So
Oh, really?
I'm probably more so like a behind the scenes guy than
Okay.
anything.
Okay, well, hold on. So you don't have to elaborate, but the feedback you got, could you make adjustments to that and try to be better?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's just that it's obviously something I wasn't very good at, just in general. Like I wasn't like, oh my god, I was born for this. I love this kind of situation. It was one of those things that I was actually I wasn't supposed to be the shoutcaster at all.
What did you
Uh,
shoutcast?
that was the Havoc Blitz.
The
I
first
remember
one?
that. I remember that.
Yeah, that was the one. It was me and
Right.
so mad.
Oh, so
Oh,
I
wow.
took place in I think the second one, or
Yeah,
maybe the
so
third
mad.
one.
The original plans for that race was so mad was supposed to be solo casting the entirety of the 2 days
That's
by
hard on
himself.
someone, yeah.
And I was going to be
That's
his
very hard.
runner to
Very hard.
where like I would be running like giving him clips from the other behind the scenes people to give him like rips and stuff like that and like communicate with him. And then day of or like the day before he asked me if I was interested in like just joining him occasionally to help him, fill in some downtime. And I'm like, sure. And I was already working on like some funny little commercials to run in between races, and that kind of thing. Uh, and when it became the day of the actual event, he had a severe, severe tooth infection to the point where at the end of day one of the Havoc Blitz, he really like he took so much medicine that he actually passed out. Um,
Wow.
from yeah, and he honestly almost didn't show up for day 2, and it was going to be me solo. But he managed to get on, and as soon as we got done, he like went to the emergency room for it. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. But yeah, I was never supposed to be there to begin with, but that did open the door for a lot of people trusting me, that I was able to run something, or not run, but like co-run something like that. So even though I have the Shoutcaster title, that's more of just a permissions thing. Because I'm one of very few people that's had the like moderator status on
The
Path of
racing Discord?
Exile ladder, the PoE ladder
Wow.
site, to
Good
where I
deal.
could modify people's profiles and like
That's
attach
cool.
clips for them, kind of stuff. It's been revoked since then because he's redone like the entire site multiple times. But
Vaderon?
yeah, he's a cool dude.
He is real cool. I've reached out to him and talked to him multiple times to like try to get like Totem League and Anomaly League and different types of private leagues on the ladder so we could like keep track of it.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
But
always
yeah,
really, really cool. So
upcoming week 3 of Path of Exile. We'll see how things pan out for things, right?
shaking out.
Sounds good. Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything else we should touch on?
I mean, we kind of went over state of the game. We didn't really talk about player base. We did kind of go over if we agree with GG. I think it kind of speaks for itself, right? Like,
yeah, I feel like if anyone wants to research the player base, just open up Reddit. It's just it's everywhere. It's everywhere on Reddit.
It's really bad. It's people are losing their shit. So hopefully, I don't have high hopes that people are gonna come flooding back this league, but I really hope that
I think the ship sailed.
we get another I'm sorry league that just is a banger league for 320, kind of like Scourge was like an I'm sorry league for 315. We got a lot of good stuff in Scourge, not just Scourge the mechanic itself, which was pretty fun, a lot of people enjoyed, but we got the armor rework, right? We got the evasion rework, grace, determination, and a lot of the defenses that we now kind of need now. Even
Kind of
Yeah.
mandatory, which is something I'm not a big fan of.
It's not really. I mean, you could build defensively without everything, like the cookie cutter, defiance, banner, grace, determination. I say that playing a champion right now who's running all three, but my trickster did not run determination. It ran grace, it ran immortal call, and it ran like energy shield. And I did have spell suppression, but you can run even without spell suppression. It's possible to build varied. It's just people don't think for themselves and they go only by what someone tells them most of the time. There's very few people in the game that are actively trying to seek different things to do.
Yeah.
I
mean, I had plenty of physical reduction with the mana build from the 4 endurance charges from Hierophant.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to build defensively, no matter where you're at on the tree, right? You just need to make sure you do it correctly. It's just like Quasi saying, Reddit is a hive mind, and the PoE player base in general is kind of the same way. And I can't say that I'm totally immune to it. I sometimes fall into it myself, like fall into, old traditions and habits of like, oh, I need to build this, I need to build that. But then I take a step back and I'm like, well, what if we do this? Would this work? And
Right.
a lot of times you can make it work.
Right.
Yep. Any insights from Lily?
What do you say? What you guys say? Huh? You like it? You liking your cat's on crit bark pack to build? How's it going?
Bark pack.
Going good? Yeah. She said, yeah, I fucking whooped all the Ubers day one. Get on my level. Get on my That's right. You tell them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, Lily looks weird without makeup. That was a bad joke. I apologize.
I didn't
I'm
even
not
understand.
referring to Lily. I'm not referring to DS Lily as a dog. Don't take that
I
out of
didn't even
context.
understand. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is he
Clip
talking
it and ship it.
Nope.
about?
Don't. No cancel. I will repay
Dad.
her in Pilk. It's fine.
Just you have to record a cover of Ram Ranch for her, and then she'll forgive
I don't
you.
even know what that is.
Well, you better Google Ram Ranch. Just don't play it on stream.
You're sending them down this rabbit hole, huh?
I know the Game Grumps love it. I don't know what that is, but
Ram
okay, well.
Ranch 18 fully, and then I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah,
So yeah, I hope that we get a really good banger league next league and things. I mean, it is the big expansion league, isn't it? I mean, every league the past few leagues have been a quote unquote expansion, but it's their December release.
10th one, right? So like
it's their December release, so it should be a big league, and hopefully they knock it out of the park, for their sake and for our sake, who are content creators and we kind of thrive on the game doing well. As much shit as we might talk or not talk about it, we do kind of rely on the game in a way. Those that, create content and this is their sole financial income, right? So,
yep.
Them doing well makes us do well. So I obviously want to see the game succeed and do well. I'm still having fun with the game. If I wasn't having fun with the game, I wouldn't be playing. So, I mean, take that as you will. But, I enjoy playing the game a lot.
Yeah,
so,
I'm excited for a lot of private leagues this league, honestly. Excited for that.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get something going, and who knows, maybe we can get DadBod to shoutcast maybe some of the private league that we're doing.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Tati's having brand only league, and he said he'll probably do it a little bit sooner. So it should be fun. I'm probably gonna bring back my Archmage Stormbrand build for that.
Sounds good. All right. I think that's it, everybody. I think we're good.
It's longer on one side. No, it's not. It's really not. It's just the way that you see it. Look,
oh boy.
It's not longer on one side. Look how long it is in the middle. Look at it. It can almost touch you there. It can cover up my face.
Okay.
It's reaching out and say yeah.
So for everybody that came in late, this podcast video will be on Deedledo's YouTube.
That's right. Under the same name that you see underneath of me right there. DeedleDo.
Yep.
Just, it is what it is.
It'll be uploaded. Are you streaming, DadBod? Are you streaming these days or nope?
Not right now.
Okay.
I'm just working on stuff.
Okay.
I couldn't stream last league from internet issues, but
DadBod working
on getting them back.
So I am live on Twitch 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern till 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and it seems like Deedle has the opposite live schedule that I do. So if you don't,
starting around 3 a.m. EST, so that would be about midnight.
Yeah, midnight my time.
And I usually go until about 10 a.m. ish. 10, 11 a.m. EST.
When do you sleep?
I usually would be asleep around now.
Okay. Interesting.
And if I do stream, it would be right in the middle of those 2 times.
Okay. Yeah. So if you don't catch me live, catch Deedle live.
Glad to have you.
Big up to everybody.
Stream every day.
Yeah.
Stream every day, so I'm always there. Even if I'm late or have a weird schedule, I will be streaming for the last 10,000, not 10,000. Holy moly, I'm way ahead of myself.
streams.
10,000 streams for the last 1,007 days. Been 1,000 days in a week.
We'll spend Christmas together, Deedle. It'll be fun.
10,000 days.
And then join us next time, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, for the next Unwavering Stance. That will be
what time did you say?
8 a.m. Pacific.
This isn't permanent.
No,
we're not doing this in the mornings permanently.
Oh, we're not?
No, this is just because I had stuff to do tonight.
Oh.
I thought we had already nailed down a time frame.
Oh, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
That's
also,
I can't
sorry,
wake up this early on a
I was
Sunday.
confused. I'm sorry, I was confused. Okay.
I will now be waking up early for that, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. I think I'd rather. Although I thought I wasn't going to be as talkative for this cast, I probably was a bit more talkative than I needed to be.
No, you were good this cast. I liked it. I liked the energy. Yeah, I thought DadBod was good too. I thought everybody was
I thought
good.
that I was going to be brain dead, honestly, because after, a 10-hour stream or whatever I did, and then, being tired, but, it went well. I want to point out that for those in chat and anybody watching this on YouTube in the future, even though it's not the future to you, it's the future to us now. You're watching us in the past and you are now in the now. If you have any topics or any ideas or questions, thoughts, concerns that you would like to see us cover in any future events, be sure to drop them down in the comments. Let us know. We will go over them and try to accommodate them as best we can. Also, subscribe, like, share, comment, talk about it with your friends. Let's go. That's all I got.
Yep. All right. So 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Next podcast on Sunday will be episode number 11.
Sounds good.
Love you. Love you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. You guys.